This is Rupp Arena at the University of Kentucky, and the Kentucky faithful hoping that the season gets right back on track. Welcome to the SEC on ESPN. Big Blue Nation is wondering, which team is this? Is it the one that beat #1 Michigan State, or the one that lost last time out to Evansville? Utah Valley from the WAC is in town tonight. Try to be a test for this Kentucky team. They have filled Rupp once again, but they've also filled the airwaves with questions. Just what is this Kentucky team? Meanwhile, the head coaches on both sides trying to lead by example. Mark Madsen has that energy and enthusiasm that his team takes on. And if John Calipari's team played with his energy, they'd be undefeated right now. Welcome courtside. Tom Hart alongside Jimmy Dykes. What in the world do we have with Kentucky?
First of all, how many rebounds would Mark Madsen get in this ball game tonight? I say double figures.
Indeed.
That's the mad dog that can absolutely get after him. There's not a more confusing team right now in college basketball than Kentucky. Who are they? They can knock off Michigan State. They can lose to Evansville. It's how they lost to Evansville that has everyone concerned, as should be. It all started with John Calipari. He did not have his guy prepared for a fight. He admitted it. He was vulnerable. He was honest about it. And he's addressed it all week long. The leadership wasn't in place, and it filtered down to his guys. I think he has had his eyes open to what this team could be and what they also can struggle with. What did Evansville do in that ball game, Tom Hart? You know that Utah Valley is going to go back and look at this tape. They've done it. They're going to isolate Kentucky and try to drive him, spread him, make Kentucky play spread defense. Kentucky was so careless with the basketball. They were not focused from the opening tip. And then 2 minutes to go, a 6'5" guard, K.J. Riley, gets a big offensive putback to lead Evansville and Coach McCarty out of here with a three-point win. What's Kentucky going to do? I don't know.
Well, we know they cherish their history here, and it was a historic loss. It was Evansville. First ever win against a ranked team, and it came against #1. It was Kentucky's first loss at home against an unranked non-conference opponent, and we haven't seen a non-power team do that on the road since Long Beach State did it to Kansas in 1993. Will that have a lasting impact on Kentucky's season? Tonight's the first night we start to answer that question.
Tom, the concerns for Kentucky are legitimate concerns. Shooting 24% from the three-point line. This is a Kentucky team that has made 12 three-point shots in 3 games. They're also only getting 26% on the offensive glass. That's not what John Calipari teams are known for.
Tyrese Maxey getting his first start as a Kentucky Wildcat tonight. In fact, this is the 3rd different starting lineup in the first 4 games for Kentucky. We'll tell you why in a moment. Tilla Whitney rises but misses, and a rebound to the 7-footer Brandon Morley. Kentucky will be without 2 key players tonight. E.J. Montgomery in the front court remains out, and Emmanuel Quickly, their starting guard, suffered a chest injury in practice Saturday. He won't play tonight. A deep 3 off balance from T.J. Washington.
Tom, that's big news that Quickly. So now you're down your 2 veteran guys in Montgomery and Quickly. You have 7 scholarship players available for this ball game tonight against a Utah Valley team that's going to shrink the floor and make Kentucky settle for jump shots like they have their first 2 possessions.
And what did Kentucky do a bad job of? Stopping the straight line drives, and Brandon Averett, a transfer from Oklahoma State, has the Wolverines of Utah Valley up.
Just no excuse for that for Kentucky to open this ball game. The lack of urgency off of a missed shot to secure the painted area of the floor.
A drive and a finish from Ashton Hagans.
Hagans has to make shots at the rim. He has missed a ton of them his career so far at Kentucky.
Another 3 launch. That's what Utah Valley wants to do. They make 7 threes a game. They use that to beat UAB on the road when Washington and Averett combined for 37. Nate Sestina turns it over for Kentucky.
Well, the first 3 possessions now. Utah Valley is going to shrink this court defensively. Mark Madsen talked to his guys earlier today about playing in the gaps. I love what he said. If you can't play in a gap tonight, I can't play you in this game. Shrink the floor and see if Kentucky will settle for jump shots.
Shot clock at 10. They spread and drive. It ends in a kick, and Kason Jardine has it skip off the rim.
Boy, how easy did Washington get to the rim, though, huh?
Here's Nick Richards inside, and the jump hook goes.
Yep. Where you catch the ball as a post player tells us a lot. And Richards that time caught it with 2 feet in the painted area of the floor.
Jardine for 3. And Richards is on the glass. Who will be Kentucky's answer on the offensive end this season?
Coach Calipari is trying to figure that out as well. You're asking me, he doesn't even know. We don't know. Maxey has the ability to take games over, it seems like. it's going to be a balanced offensive attack, I think, for Kentucky. They don't have that one dude that can just go get things done on a consistent basis. Maybe it's 3 in white Maxey.
It was Maxey night 1 against Michigan State in the guard. Look at Averett. Lost his balance and a final putback by Trey Woodbury. What'd you learn at Utah Valley's practice today?
I learned they are tough and they understand how their head coach wants them to play. Mark Madsen is a 2-time All-American at Stanford because he out-toughed people and he didn't get bored with the basics. I expect his guys to play the same way.
A drive that was lost, picked back up and turned over. Another Kentucky cough up. Here comes Utah Valley. Averett off balance. Follow tip, not quite there.
Would have been the 3rd transition basket by Utah Valley in the first 3 minutes.
Now Kentucky trying to push. And a foul on Utah Valley. Kason Jardine picks up his first. How about the depth of Nick Richards on the block?
Well, I said you'd learn a lot about where the post catches the ball. And Nick Richards this time catches it 1 foot in the paint and 1 foot out. And that's different than what he's been doing. You can push Nick Richards off like Evansville did with a lot of success. Nick Richards comes out with a deep post touch and an unblockable jump hook.
Tyrese Maxey had the best debut in terms of scoring in any Kentucky freshman history, and it came at the Garden against #1 Michigan State.
He plays the game, Tom, with a joyful spirit without sacrificing that competitive fighting edge. And that's a terrific quality to have as a young man.
Nate Sestina with a lane violation. Is this game starting for Kentucky with some of these mistakes the same way the Evansville game did?
Well, the biggest concern right now that I see for Calipari is his guys' lack of urgency in transition defense.
P.J. Washington, he and Averett are the keys for Utah Valley. They're off to a 3-1 start this season. And Washington is able to get inside.
It looks
Deja
early.
vu all over again.
To me, it looks early, yes. Like Washington and Averett, the 2 small guards for Utah, can get in the paint anytime they want.
Whitney tracks down the miss, but he stepped on the end line. Another Kentucky turnover. It's their 3rd turnover here in the first 4 minutes of this game.
Evansville played spread offense, and Kentucky took the bait and played spread defense. So far, they're doing the same thing in this game. They're spreading out above that 3-point line and allowing downhill drives.
Kentucky on the glass. It's Tyrese Maxey. Sestina wants it on the block, but doesn't get a look. They're not going to guard Hagens at the 3-point line. Another Kentucky turnover. It was Maxey that time. First time out on the floor at Rupp. Utah Valley leading. Another stunned Kentucky crowd here on their home court. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Heineken. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. And Tostitos. Get to the good stuff. 10 possessions for Kentucky to start this game. They've turned it over on 5 of them.
Yeah, not a clean start. There's one of the step outs in that tight corner these days. He's moving that 3-point line back. You're going to see that early and often in college basketball. They said not a clean start for Kentucky really on either end of the floor, Tom. Again, this is a Kentucky team. I think they're built to kind of shrink the floor defensively themselves. And they have been spread out, and once their size gets spread out, those small, quick guards, not only of Evansville, but now in this ball game, Utah Valley, able to get to the paint and make Kentucky respond to those paint touches.
John Calipari's message to his team today was simple in one respect. He said, you got to get on the offensive glass. I can't make you do it, but you'd think you'd want to do it. And we got a whistle and a travel on Trey Woodbury.
How competitive was Mark Madsen as a player? Toughness and tenacity. You get the nickname Mad Dog because of the style of play. And I'm serious. He would get 8, maybe 9 rebounds in this ball game tonight. Still.
Right now. It'd be interesting to watch him do it in a suit and tie. I was talking to him right before the game in the tunnel. Not many coaches, as Brandon Morley, the 7-footer, commits his first, just kind of hang out in the tunnel before the game.
That's him, though, isn't it?
I said, Mark, what was it? Why college basketball? He was an assistant coach with the Lakers. He coached their G League team. Before that, he said, I had so many great mentors. His high school coach, John Rayner, Mike Montgomery at Stanford. Phil Jackson, of course, with the Lakers. He said, I just love teaching and coaching young men and teaching them the game of basketball and life.
Well, he's been on the big stage his entire life, so it starts, if you're going to pull off an upset in Rupp, the head coach cannot be intimidated. McCarty wasn't intimidated last week, and Mark Madsen's not going to be intimidated as well. They've been in this spot, and their kids feed off that confidence and that energy that the coach can bring to that bench.
TJ Washington and Brandon Averett playing with a lot of confidence for sure. Here's Morley. He's a transfer from the University of Utah. This is a roster loaded with transfers. Shot clock at 5. Washington trying to get past Sestino. 3 for Woodbury. And it goes at the buzzer.
I don't think it counts.
And now they're going to check it. Tony Green kept the hand up. Yeah. And Mark Madsen's waiting to see.
Kentucky had the ball double teamed on the strong side of the floor. They kind of iced the action late. But then Woodbury sprints free and Khalil Whitney just falls asleep. He tags the roller and no one up top. And you go by clock, light, horn for the game clock, but they go by the horn first and a shot clock violation. If you can't hear the horn, you're going to go by the clock. That's what the officials are looking at right now. And I think it's on his fingertips at 0. Watching it live, I heard the horn before the ball was released.
You know, Jimmy, most years you'd look at a play like this in the first half of a Kentucky versus Utah Valley game and you say, what would it matter?
This one matters. Absolutely it does. It has the feel, doesn't it, early? It's really close. Again, this is different than a end of the game and you're looking at the game clock. In that situation, it's clock, light, horn. But on a shot clock violation, they listen for the horn first. If they can't hear the horn on the replay, now they go to the shot clock right up here. And that, to me, it's 0. And I think they wave this thing off.
We'll give you a listen to it.
Yeah, way before.
And they gave it a look.
We got blank screens. We couldn't see anything over there. Fine, right?
So they called it off. They were having some technical issues with their machine on the other side of the court to give it a look. I also noticed, Jimmy, you're talking about the horn. They weren't wearing headsets.
They were looking at a blank screen. How difficult is it to figure out a replay if you're looking at a blank screen? That's really, really hard. And they still got it right.
Khalil Whitney finds Maxey. You said John Calipari is still trying to figure out who his go-to guy is going to be. It must be hard to figure out what you want to do offensively in the half court if you don't know who the ball needs to end up with.
Absolutely. It's a little confusing for the players as well. I believe that's the 4th jump shot for Kentucky to start this game. Not what they want to do.
Remember, they're without their big E.J. Montgomery, Nick Richards.
Well, you got the switch right now. You got the switch, Tom. Spread the floor out and let Washington go to work.
Nick Richards with great defense. Extra pass into the corner and a ball fake. Now Woodbury. And another foul on the 7-footer, Brandon Morley. It's his 2nd.
Washington got too cute with the ball on that 1-5 mismatch.
The 2K Empire Classic is part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. These games on ESPN2 starting Thursday. Patrick Ewing's squad from Georgetown will take on undefeated 4-0 Shaka Smart with Andrew Jones and Courtney Ramey. And then Mark Fox's Cal team battles #1 Duke at 9:30.
I saw that Texas name down there, and you and I talked about it. There's a good deep post touch again by Nick Richards. Where you catch the ball tells us so much about what's going on in this basketball game. It tells us that Utah Valley right now is not physical enough with Nick Richards, and Nick Richards has come with a different mentality. A really good cross screen set that time by Kentucky using a little simple cross screen action, a small on big that you can't switch, and if you do, you get punished.
Richards played in the game last time Utah Valley came in here. He had 10 points, 3 boards, and 3 blocks. It was a game the Wolverines led in the second half.
There's a cross screen right there by Tyrese Maxey. That's a guard. It's a 2 screening for a 5. Very difficult to defend that cross screen size action.
Jamison Overton with the ball now. He committed the foul a moment ago. Utah Valley content to be patient on offense. Washington got cut off.
Stay up. You're Kentucky, stay up.
Shot clock at 2. And Maxi's on the board. Kentucky with a 4-point lead, trying to stretch it. Johnny Juzang, back rim.
I like Juzang taking the shot. Kentucky needs offense, and Juzang's a kid. It looks like it's going in every time he shoots it. He just needs 1 or 2 to go down.
Maxey has it blocked, and Utah Valley gets it right back.
Crazy shot. Bad shot, crazy shot, forced shot. I've run out of descriptions.
Gavin Egahabsa also on the game on the floor for Utah Valley. Young program with some recycled players who've come in from other spots. Habsa transferred from Fordham. Skips it to corner for a 3 again. And it goes that time for Woodbury.
You cannot come off of shooters in late clock. Nick Richards was fantastic, by the way, taking on the ball screen action like he was against Michigan State and Cassius Winston. Go back and look at that ball game. 7 times Nick Richards came up as a ball screen defender in that action against Cassius. No points allowed.
Maxey got a bump and no whistle. Got it back and put it in.
But I'll ask you, Tom, does Kentucky feel like they have an offensive rhythm?
No, it feels like 5 guys doing 5 different things.
Yeah, absolutely,
except for the
does.
touches that Richards got.
Absolutely it does. The screen, rescreen off the elbow. Really good stuff by Mark Madsen's guys.
Woodbury over Sestina. Got it.
Yeah, they're kind of targeting Sestina, but this is a similar size guy. Evansville got the switch on Sestina and made him try to defend guards, and Woodbury's a big guard, small forward. Sestina's got to be able to move his feet better.
Woodbury's a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Maxey had it blocked on his way in, and they'll get a foul on it. This would be the biggest win in Utah Valley history. They were a junior college until 2003, now part of the WAC, and they're trying to whack off Kentucky here at Rupp Arena. Let's get to know Emmanuel Olojakpoke, the senior from Houston by way of Akron, who missed the last part of the 17-18 season while with Akron with a heart condition. He's a sensational shot blocker. And Jimmy, you had a chance to sit down with him. Only thing better than his game is his story.
Emmanuel, you went through open heart surgery in 2018. Tell us about that and what you learned from it.
I learned don't take anything for granted. You never know when it could be your last time on the court. You just work hard every opportunity you get.
You only got to play half the season that year, but then the very next season, you played all 31 games.
Yes,
what was that recovery like for you?
First it was tough, but I had a lot of support, a lot of teammates, family around me, so I made it through.
Scars in life. Tell us our story. Let me see your scar real quick. Yeah, that's something that's going to always be impactful to you. Yeah, hey, man, I'm really really blessed to know your story. And I love stories of overcoming. That's you, my man. That's you. Yeah.
Jimmy, he was playing in a game against Buffalo in January of 18, and he lost his vision on the court. He came off the court. He told the trainer, he said, I can't see. They took him in the next day. They found a growth on his mitral valve leaflet. Surgery almost immediately. They said, we need to get you in here. It's not just basketball. He would have lost. It would have been everything.
How about the six-pack also that Emmanuel threw at us when I was visiting with him? Scars tell our story, Tom, in life. And this is a kid that has overcome. I love hearing those stories. He plays with such joy and passion. His goal tonight is 6 blocks. He may do it. He's blocking 1 shot every 3 minutes and 30 seconds that he's on the floor as a 6'11" long-arm dude.
Played 3 seasons at Akron. He's one of a handful of transfers on this team. And a program that lost key transfers. When their head coach last year, Mark Pope, took the job literally down the street at BYU. He took one of the WAC Player of the Year, Jake Tolson, WAC Freshman of the Year, Wyatt Lowell, and his 6'11" center, Richard Harwood.
Yeah, really just a gut blow to Utah Valley basketball. But then Mark Madsen, the hiring, kind of re-energized the entire program. Nick Richards is 7 feet. Utah Valley's tallest guy is 6'7". He should have a big game right now. Go up and score.
They got an offensive board against the zone, but couldn't finish.
Tom, when you're point guard and you're post, I'm talking about Hagans and Nick Richards, consistently miss shots at the rim, it puts a ton of pressure on your offense in other areas. Your point and your post, they have to finish at the rim if you're going to be a really good offensive team. Richards and Hagans have struggled so far in that area.
Richards shooting just 57% from the floor for a guy who gets all of his shots point blank. Overton spins around. The lefty got bumped and then got kicked by Sestina. Tough life on the road. Here's Maxey. And Maxey is turning it over anyway, and he goes ahead and commits an offensive foul, his first.
Maxey has been out of control 2, probably 3 times in this game. Just lowering his head like a bull charging the rim. And that time he gets called, and Cal's telling him the same thing. You got an easy drop-off pass. Make the right play. Make the easy play.
And look like there have been a whole lot of easy plays for Kentucky over the last 2 games.
Classic all gas, no break by Tyrese Maxey. Watch right here. The gas pedal is down. Not even a hint of tapping the brakes, and just a smooth run over. An easy call for Tony Green on the baseline.
Khalil Whitney will replace Maxey. Mentioned earlier, Emmanuel quickly forced to watch this game. He's out after taking a shot to the chest in Saturday's practice. The backcourt depth, he's taken a hit, and E.J. Montgomery's still out with a right ankle injury that he suffered in the opener against Michigan State.
Head tap is a sprint out spread ball screen. Kentucky should know it by now. They've ran it 4 times. Utah Valley has.
And they go back to Overton, and he's fouled on the 3-pointer. Johnny Juzang, the freshman.
That is a foul. That is not a flop. That is a foul. Juzang with contact on the shooter and a proper call.
Tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app, we'll have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys will break them down from top to bottom, have coaches' reactions, as well as a live interview with committee chairman Rob Mullins.
John Calipari wanted Tony Green to go to the monitor to see if there's a foot kick out, and Tony Green would have no part of it. I think the older veteran officials, they're going to get a grasp on this flopping that they've been in charge to get out of the game, but they're going to start using their officiating instincts going forward. When it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. Don't reward the flop. My other big concern with the flop rule right now, why are we giving teams warnings? Why are we giving a team a warning for the rest of the season? The warning should be the first time you open the rule book this year, and there it was. We don't give warning for your first travel call or your first goaltending call or anything else. Just make the call. We don't need warnings anymore for the flop.
And if you're curious, the flopping now will give you a 1 warning and then a Class B technical foul.
Why,
and all
Tom?
subsequent delays.
But why would you continue to have to give warnings when we know it's a rule this year?
I've never been asked to be on the rules committee. I'm not sure that's a job I want.
It's not that right there is not high on my CSI, common sense index.
Hagens went for the strip, couldn't get it. Utah Valley using all of the clock again. Averett way off the mark.
Well, Utah Valley, they're not turning it over. They're using clock, maybe not getting great shots, but they're not turning it over like Whitney just did.
And for Kentucky, turnover number 6 in the first 11 minutes. Not a good rate. John Calipari after the Evansville game said, turnovers weren't that bad. There's only 13, but the turnover rate for a game that was played in the 60s was way out of whack.
That's what you look at. Utah Valley comes in right now themselves with a 25% turnover rate. That's too high. So far in this game, it's tracking well below that.
Averett coming off of an 18-point game against UAB. The Texas native had 65 members of his family on hand to watch him. Averett able to get by Hagens.
That's terrible. That is just
I
terrible.
thought Ashton Hagens was an elite defender. He had 8 steals against North Carolina last year.
He's a gambler defender. When he's hot as an on-ball defender, but that was as bad of a breakdown defensively as I've seen this year. Just gave up the elbow. No one was in the gap. Really inexcusable.
John Calipari is nearly at midcourt. He's close enough to check into this game. Hagens takes it to the rack.
Well, the ones that Hagens has to make, Tom, because he's going to get there. He's got a big first explosive step. He sniffs out the gap attacks well. He must finish when he gets to the rim.
Hagens gambled again. Averett on the switch is matched up with an advantage, and then the loose ball rebound finds Khalil Whitney. Hagens will drive from the corner, and he's able to draw the foul. I believe that one's on Hafsa. It'll be his first. 15-14, Kentucky with the lead. And when we return, Jimmy's going to tell us what Kentucky's defense has looked like lately. Here's a hint. Not good.
40 up, Tom, at the half.
All right, Kevin, thanks. Tom Izzo's team usually play great defense, and thought this was going to be a good defensive Kentucky team, Jimmy.
Well, here's the problem. This is the elbow area of the floor over here, and Khalil Whitney with the yellow shoes is responsible for that elbow. He's the help defender on that elbow in the gap. He doesn't protect the gap. Hagen's opened up his hips. Cena doesn't rotate over, and Utah Valley again gets to the rim. That is a real problem for Kentucky's defense going forward. No help. The paint is the most important part of the basketball game, Tom. You have to play inside out. John Calipari's guys, again, they're playing spread defense right into the hands of Utah Valley running spread offense.
John Calipari concerned about the lack of depth. Mentioned Emmanuel quickly out with a chest injury suffered in practice Saturday. E.J. Montgomery out. He said, I don't know what we're going to do in this game. We might end up playing some zone at some point.
It would be a pretty good time to go to it right now just to give it a look.
Ashton Hagen's at the free throw line. Kentucky leads by 2 despite the fact that Utah Valley hasn't scored in the last 2+ minutes.
Kentucky's down to 7 guys, and so now Nick Richards is going to have to be a 32-minute guy tonight, most likely. So far in his career, there's a big difference between a 20-minute Nick Richards and a 33-minute Nick Richards.
Sure.
We'll see how he responds.
Deep 3 rattles home. That's Kasdan Jardine.
That is really good action by Utah Valley to get Nick Richards responding to a ball screen and a pop. And there's your lack of depth right there. Utah Valley in their zone. Mark Madsen comes out of the timeout. Kentucky settles for a long jump shot.
Couple of offensive rebounds tonight for Kentucky. That's what John Calipari is hoping to see. Although he'd rather have makes and Sestina fouled in the putback.
That lack of offensive rebounding is a huge concern for Kentucky, as it should be.
This week's star-studded NBA Wednesday doubleheader starts in Dallas at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Luka Doncic and the Mavs hosting Draymond, D'Angelo Russell, and the Warriors. And it's off to the Staples Center as Kevin and the Celtics continue their West Coast road trip against Kawhi, Paul George, and the Clippers. Our coverage begins with Stephen A's pregame Sports Center at 7 on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Kentucky coming in this game, they've missed about 95, 96 shots. They've only gotten 25 offensive rebounds. That's a 26% rebound rate for Cal's guys. 7 out of 10 years at Kentucky, they have finished in the top 20 in offensive rebound percentage. They have to get on the offensive glass starting in this game.
One of the worst in the country. He said it almost doesn't compete with him. He said the guys that I usually have, they want to go to the glass. A lot of them love to see numbers next to their name in the scorebook. And if they don't get a touch in the half court, they know they can go get it off the glass and get their points.
Those kind of guys have some dog in them. There you go.
And Richards has it fall out from point-blank range.
What did I say earlier about your point guard and your post cannot miss shots at the rim? Great effort by Richards to be there, though, in the catch position.
Drive, kick, rotation, Averett 3. And Utah Valley will track down the long miss. Good. Trey Woodbury buries another triple. He's into double figures.
What a pass by Ege Hafsa.
We got a flop.
A flop.
We got a flop on the shooter, Trey Woodbury, for going down, and that's your first warning for Utah Valley.
But the pass by Hafsa was terrific. A one-handed pass from 1/3 of the floor to the opposite third of the floor. Watch Hafsa right here. Right? Bam! Look at that. That is a no-look, quick, accurate, right in the shot pocket for Woodbury to drain it.
So here's your flop on a jump shot. It went in. They count the bucket. The flop comes afterwards, and that's what they're trying to get out of the game.
It looked to me like Brooks's feet hit Woodbury's feet.
There was no foul on it. Richards with a baseline jumper. Important to realize if you haven't watched much college basketball this season, that warning is applicable to the entire Utah Valley team. So any flop offensively or defensively from here on out will result in a Class B technical, and that will come with a free throw for Kentucky.
Did I tell you earlier how I felt about the warning?
I'm waiting for you to come out of your shell, just be honest.
I think this kid can shoot it now. You ought to know it by now.
And we got a step on the inline by Tyrese Maxey. He can only answer with a smile. He thought he got pushed.
Utah has 3 or 4 really good out-of-bound underscoring. Watch the feet of Brooks come in contact. No, he didn't. No, it was that is what they're trying to get out there. I'm not sure Woodbury had near enough contact to hit the deck.
Transition the other way after the Utah Valley miss, and Maxey gets his crowd revved again.
That shot was in rhythm, in transition, and Maxey he's the most confident shooter that Kentucky has. Not the best, but he is the most confident.
Washington able to drive. Another kick and has it for 3.
It all started with a paint touch again by Utah. The first side of the floor, Kentucky gives up the paint. A real concern. Zone by Utah. You've got Sestina who can make shots in Jew zone.
And a foul on the floor. And it looks like that'll be on TJ Washington away from the basket.
Tom, it irritates the dog out of a coach to give up a first side of the floor drive to the paint. It's one thing if the play got swung side to side, now you're on the third side of the floor and your defense had to move. Cal's guys on that last possession, first side of the floor, one pass, paint touch.
Here's Nate Sestina, the transfer from Bucknell. He's got another free throw coming away. There's one other thing that has handicapped John Calipari tonight with the lack of depth, and that is the motivator that is the bench, because he is a coach that doesn't hesitate to deliver his message with you sitting on the bench versus you sitting and you on the floor playing in the game.
Yeah, as well he should be. That's what gets guys' attention. You know, we have a real, I think, epidemic in basketball right now at all levels. Too many guys just want to play. They don't want to play the game to win, compete, and fight. They just want to play. They're happy playing, showcasing what they can do.
Kentucky goes zone for the first time tonight.
And a few times all season long. It's a big zone that should be shrunk. You get a hand up on shooters, challenge shooters, check them out, chase the ball afterwards.
You know, Utah Valley has shooters. They also have drivers. And they got a 7-footer. They got free inside Brandon Morley's first bucket.
Backside the zone, did not rotate down and get inside the big. You have to get inside the big and make it a fist fight on that opposite block when you're playing zone and the ball is attacked on the baseline.
Hagens drives. Below Whitney.
I like the shot by Whitney. I like the find by Hagens. Hagens had a chance to take a really tough 2 and found Whitney in the corner, who made a play out of the corner instead of settling for a 3 out of the corner.
Stolen away by Ashton Hagens. And he jams it home to extend the Kentucky advantage. Illegal screen. Largest lead of the game for Kentucky. Well, those of you that remember MASH, it was the most watched finale in television history. Kentucky has its own MASH unit. They're only up 6 with more guys in warm-ups than uniforms tonight. Well, different vibes in this building, Seth, because Ariana Grande canceled her concert last night here in Rupp. She said she's been sick since her last London show. Kentucky fans have been sick since the Evansville game.
They have. I walked into the hotel last night and a lot of dejected Ariana Grande fans were in the house.
She's a 7-ring singer. They've got 8 banners. Kentucky fans will say, we got your beat.
You know, Seth and I were here, I guess, back at Kentucky Pro Day together, and we just looked out there and thought Kentucky should be a phenomenal defensive team. And they still should be and could be. And to Seth's point, that's how they can fix their offensive woes as quickly as anything.
Did Seth say they had dudes? Because Jerry Tipton says that's tired. Seth, he's asking for you.
Nice find. Nice attack. Well done. Another miss, though, by Hagens right in front of the rim.
So in all seriousness, were you guys wrong? Or has Kentucky just not found that defensive mojo yet?
You're asking if Seth Greenberg and I were wrong? Or do you have a fever? They are built with their length, their quickness, their rim protection. A harassing on-ball defender like Higgins and Maxey and quickly can be. But right now they're not. They were outstanding against Michigan State. They were outstanding. They were locked in. But they have not been since that game. And if you're Kentucky, I've coached here. You get that noise inside your soul and start hearing about you're going to be undefeated until late December. You're the favorite to win the national championship. We've got guys that are being compared to future NBA All-Stars. It's hard to keep that out of your system. It got inside of Calipari, I think, a little bit. It got inside of his guys. It's been a humbling wake-up call, or at least it should be. Go up and score number 4.
They dropped 8 places to number 9 after their loss. The first mid-major to win on the number 1 team's home court since Long Beach State did it to Kansas in '93. Jardine's third personal.
I love Nick Richards running the floor, being in position to score in transition, but you got to finish. You know, he's got a 5'11" guard on him right there. He doesn't accept the block out. He goes and gets the ball, and just stay active. If you're Nick Richards, just stay active. You know, we kind of all want the painless path in life to success. It doesn't happen. Painless times and when we grow and when we get better, and that's where Nick Richards is right now. Just keep your chin up, keep your eyes up, 2 hands with the basketball, and be a player in this game.
He didn't start playing organized basketball until he was 15 years old, a Jamaican native.
When did you start announcing? At what age? Are you young in your career?
Yesterday. I just started yesterday. Most people say got a long way to go.
You have a lot of upside about you, Tom Hart.
Appreciate that.
Kentucky just getting through those ball screens. Back to their man-to-man. Their zone has been so good to them.
Washington gets baseline, and he gets a foul.
What a blow by Washington. Goaltending call. What was the call? They counted the basket, right? Goaltending call. The basket. The ball went in, but
Kentucky got it on the rim. They said.
The blow by again. Maxey is too high. He's on the top shoulder. The baseline's opened up.
Brandon Morley with the block. Great shot blocking team, one of the best in the country. By the way, Jimmy, if the struggles are going to be there with the Evansvilles and the Utah Valleys, what's going to happen against Louisville and Ohio State? And other non-conference opponents who come in with more sterling resumes.
Louisville is a real team. I'm talking a real team. Last week after one of Louisville's wins, I was talking to Chris Mack about how hard they play and how connected they are defensively. To me, just my eyes tell me Louisville and Virginia are outstanding on the defensive end of the floor right now. There's other teams up there with them. But I watch Louisville play and I watch Virginia play. Those 2 teams right now are at a different level. Louisville, one of 4 teams that are top 10 right now, offensive and defensive efficiencies, along with Michigan State, Duke, and North Carolina.
Kentucky will also play Texas Tech in the SEC Big 12 Challenge.
Late clock.
Richards commits the foul on the rebound. Well, I thought it was Richards. You're going to give that to Morley. That'll be his 3rd.
That's a big call, Tom.
It is Morley.
Morley had inside position. He had inside position on Richards. Maybe he got an arm and held an arm going for the ball. But the top of your screen right here, there's a box off. Man, that's a tough call to go against Utah Valley. There are 300 students watching back home tonight in Orem, Utah. Aren't going to agree with that one. That wasn't a hook and hold. That's not enough contact to make a call.
6-point lead for Kentucky. Back to Rupp in half a minute. (33-27) Kentucky with the lead. Both of these teams shooting 10 for 30 so far in this game. Utah Valley has 3 guys in foul trouble. They've committed 9 fouls. Only 3 players have committed 9. We talked a lot about defense so far tonight. One of the best defensive teams in the country year in and year out. Tony Bennett and the defending champs from Virginia.
Well, like I said, going in the break, right now my eyes tell me Virginia and Louisville, they know who they are on the defensive end of the floor. And what a terrific game tomorrow night. I think it's on the ACC network. Vermont at Virginia. Vermont just went in and won at St. John's over the weekend. Anthony Lamb is a kind of a mid-major. Grant Williams from Tennessee, 6'5", makes plays, tough as nails. That will be a low-scoring affair, but do not sleep on Vermont. I'm not going to say they're going to win that game tomorrow night, but when their name pops up in the bracket in March, that's a team capable, the Catamounts, of winning a game or two this year.
They played big games on the road. They played in Kansas as home opener last year at Allen Fieldhouse. Just a hair difference between the game clock and the shot clock. 7 turnovers for Kentucky in this first half.
And for Utah Valley right now, just don't turn the dadgum thing over. If you don't even get a shot up right now, you know you're in the ball game. Don't turn it over and let Kentucky get a 2-point basket at the buzzer with momentum.
Shot clock at 2. Averett for 3. Couldn't find the rim, and there'll be 1.1 remaining for Kentucky.
Push up right now for Utah Valley. I mean, it could be a close game. This 1.8 seconds is time for 1, 2 dribbles and a shot. For Utah Valley, get up a little bit and make Kentucky work here. Do not foul, but don't give Kentucky a clean look.
Utah Valley came in here a couple of years ago. They had a 10-point lead at the half before Kentucky went on an 18-0 run in the second half.
You know what I do right now? Because Utah Valley has no size on the floor. I'd put Nick Richards in the ball game and treat this like the end of the game.
Yeah.
Throw the full-court pass to the top of the key for Nick Richards. Let him catch it and kick it out. I mean, what's the difference at the end of the game and the end of the half? You know, these 2 points or 3 points could be critical. It's a great time to work on it. You know Richards is going to catch the ball. He's 7 feet tall, and Utah Valley's tallest guy out right now is 6'6". Let him be the guy that catches it. Time for a catch, a quick kick out, and maybe a knockdown 3. Richards is in the game. Sestina has a good arm. He's a good, strong kid. I would try to throw the ball to Nick Richards at the middle of the floor right now, or at least get him to the top of the key and let him be the guy that, right here, make the pass.
They'll cross in front of him. Here's Richards at the bucket.
Do it too high. That's exactly what they were trying to do. Now we're playing volleyball as we go into half. But I like what Calipari did. What a good timeout to teach his team. Here's how we're going to try to score with 1.8. Sestina, too strong. Back off the weights, big fella.
It was a historic loss last time out. Will Kentucky be in line for another? Their lead is only 8 at the half. Good thing we got the right guys to talk about it back in the studio with Seth and LaFonso. Here's Kevin Connor. The crowd has figured out one thing. Boneless wings and ranch is good. You're watching the SEC on ESPN, but the question remains what to make of this Kentucky basketball team. They lead Utah Valley 35-27 as we get ready to start the second half. Tom Hart alongside Jimmy Dykes. Kentucky coming off of a home loss to unranked Evansville's the #1 team in the country. We're still trying to figure out exactly who the Cats are on offense.
Well, we talked in the first half. A couple of real concerns for Kentucky to start the ball game. Offensive rebound percentage. Kentucky has missed 20 shots in this game, Tom. The good news is they've gotten 9 of those back on the offensive glass. Nick Richards is, again, he's the tallest guy on the floor. Should have a huge number right now on the offensive glass and a score as well. They just don't have an offensive rhythm. Kentucky does not yet, and that's okay. Sometimes it takes John Calipari till January or February to figure out how to play with his guys and through his guys on the offensive end. They don't have an offensive identity. The concern is win the ball game right now, and that will grow and that will come as you get healthy and you get your 9 guys back on the floor. There's a game summary right now. Nick Richards getting close to a double-double. Woodbury shooting the ball well for Utah Valley. The foul trouble for Utah Valley, Tom, is a real concern, I think, for Mark Madsen's club.
One highlight, John Calipari will be happy with the fact his team is on the offensive glass. They have 9 offensive rebounds. Utah Valley 14 boards total. But speaking of identity, it's something John Calipari has talked about. He said, listen, we didn't know who Tyler Hero was going to become last season until he started to do it once conference play started. He expects to start and have to figure out his team as the season goes on.
Yeah, they know who he is in the pros now, don't they?
Indeed.
Yeah, I just don't see a developing Tyler Hero on this club, though. To answer your question, better job at Kentucky to protect the nail, protect the elbow.
Richards was mismatched on Averett, but he forced a miss. Remember, he forced a turnover on him in the first half.
Nice
Hagens
attack.
drives, dishes, dunk through.
Yeah,
Nick Richards.
Very well done by Hagens in transition. And Richards again. I love his effort. Dude plays hard now. to run the floor and to stay up with the game and not play behind the game. Very well done by Nick Richards.
What do you think of Utah Valley's offensive attack so far tonight?
I think they've spread the floor. I think for the most part they've taken good shots. They're going to really struggle scoring at the rim in this ball game. Can they make enough perimeter shots and get enough drive? That has to be a block.
It is indeed. Sestina able to draw the foul on Jardine. That's his fourth.
That's just a little, just a slip out ball screen by Nick Richards with really good feet. He sets the ball screen and then really efficient with his side-to-side steps to get his numbers exposed to Hagens, then get turned around and twisted and start dancing with himself. He got himself quickly available. Well done.
Jardine with 4 fouls. Morley, the 7-footer, has 3, which helps explain why he didn't jump back up on Richards after that drive and dish. They clear out for Maxey, and he ends up finishing with a flush and a flex. Tyrese Maxey was the nation's darling opening night. Trying to get back there with a wink and a smile and a shrug.
Yeah, he was a star, wasn't he? First game of the year against Michigan State on both ends of the floor. A little isolation by Coach Cal to get Maxey going one-on-one. And a strong baseline attack by Maxey and finish.
He has drawn 5 fouls tonight, this one on the 7-footer.
This is a good time to have all gas, no brakes. Bam, 3 up top. Kentucky starting to roll. Tom, the only chance you have on Utah Valley to stop this drive, when Maxey goes this way, Morley has to come off and get outside that lane, and these guys have to come down and be responsible for checking off Nick Richards. Morley stays connected, and as a result, it's just an easy layup. There's no rotation quickly by 13 in black. 24 and 2 in black don't rotate down. Maxey read it well, and that's an easy finish. Just a lot of breakdowns in one play. 11 in black. Averett got on the high shoulder. But you stay connected to that opposite post on the opposite block. It is a dunk layup waiting to happen.
I feel like you could use the same chalk talk for Kentucky and their defensive woes in the first half of this one and against Evansville. Maxey makes it a dozen points.
Well, your point is well taken. You have to protect those elbows and you have to protect the nail. Every coach in ball will tell you. And there's just a good drive and the finish isn't there, but the concern is Utah getting to the paint going forward for Kentucky.
Maxey commits his second personal foul.
Good job by Kentucky to sniff out the flex action on the out-of-bounds under. How easy was that?
Washington couldn't reverse it in. Weapons racing, I guess, and it's turned over. Averett ends up with it. He'll drive in Sestina. And that time he's able to draw the foul on Nate Sestina. The 2K Empire Classic is part of Feast Week, and it's presented by Lowe's. We'll get it started Thursday when Georgetown takes on undefeated 4-0 Texas at 7 o'clock Eastern, followed by Mark Fox's Cal team, 3-0 on the season, taking on #1 and undefeated Duke. That's a 2K Empire Classic, part of Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
Boy, Trey Jones would put up 30, right, last week? If that guy continues to score, it's just not even close to that rate, just a 18-point-a-game guy. That Duke's, their ceiling is about as high as anyone. Just young, how quickly will they grow and continue to adapt with that pressure defense by Duke. It's not all the way there yet, but they got the makings now to lock people down in that ACC this year.
Open with that win against Kansas in the Garden, same night that Kentucky knocked off #1 Michigan State.
And Utah back in their zone, and Kentucky has to move this ball, get a zone buster on the inside of the zone as a passer. Settled, absolutely settled. With about 18 on the shot clock.
DJ Washington with the drive and the dish. Woodbury's been quiet this half. Whitney leaks out and lays it in.
A really good throw-ahead pass. I believe it was by Hagens. A good job by Whitney to get out, and Utah cannot turn this ball over. It feels like they need a basket on this possession to stay in this game.
3 years ago, Utah Valley went just down the road to the Marriott Center and knocked off BYU. That's where their former coach resides now, Mark Pope. Part of a 48-win total over the last 2 seasons, including a school record win last year.
And when you say just down the road,
literally
it's just down the road, 3.5 miles. You take the exit to go to BYU off the main interstate there from Salt Lake to Provo, and Utah Valley's campus sits right there at that exit.
They are the only program to go from junior college to Division I. That's a heck of a jump. They had a 9-year transition period before they joined the Great West in the WAC in July of 13. And when you're a transitional school, that means you can't play for championships. That means you're trying to recruit kids to come play for you, and there's no postseason.
Yeah, very, very difficult thing to do. Mark Madsen, a terrific hire from what I can see so far. 3 on the shot clock. Don't foul. Have an awareness.
Give back for a fadeaway, and it's taken down by Tyrese Maxey. Brooks.
That's his shot, Tom. He's a very good, long 2-point taker. That 17, 18-foot shot he knocks down with really good consistency.
Overton changed direction twice, and they left with a smooth touch.
Yeah, good little player, isn't he? And a long 6'6" kid. Utah's having some success getting in isolation, the matchups that they want. Tapping off the bounce.
Maxey for 3. Ball never got inside the arc. Sestina has it stripped from behind, but regathered. And Higgins will wisely bring it out. Changes his mind, gets a block from behind, and Utah Valley ends up with it.
That possession was a mess.
And a foul on the other end. Charge to Sestina, and Emmanuel Olojakpoke will go to the free throw line after the make. Mark Madsen's team trying to get it done at the elbow and at the post. Speaking of elbows, knees, legs, arms, we'll take you back to Sir Dance-A-Lot. He won't be happy. Jimmy, Mark Madsen graduated from Stanford with a degree in economics. He took the Cardinals to the Final Four as part of 105 wins over 4 seasons, 2-time All-America, first-round pick of the Lakers, back-to-back titles, 9 years in the NBA, and we focus on this, his dancing skills or lack thereof. Is that fair? And as I point out, we have a Stanford producer in the truck right now, Kim Belton.
Yeah, absolutely it's fair. They did the Stanford handshake when they saw each other today. Interesting, when Mark Madsen was recruited to Stanford, he was told, we need you to be the next Kim Belton.
Are you saying he's dancing like Kim Belton?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation, different level. But I remember the day watching Mark Madsen celebrate that NBA title, and you talk about a guy that can sit down with a young man these days, and like he did us today, he just in a simple conversation, he's talked about a conversation he had last year coaching LeBron James, and then how they game planned against Golden State on Christmas Day last year to guard 3 and not guard 2. And I think he's a bright rising star, and we throw that thing around a lot of us do. I really feel that way about Mark Madsen. He gets it, he's engaging, he's tough, he's smart, he's competitive. Utah, they got a very good young coach. Wife's from that area, right?
Yep.
Wife's from
She's
Orem.
From up the road in Orem. He's they're part of the community out there. His wife Hannah, son William, got another baby boy due in February. There's Nick Richards. He's got 15.
Nick that time caught the ball outside the paint, which is going to happen sometimes, but he didn't get rushed. Didn't shoot it as he was turning. He got his shoulder squared before the shot was released. It's a very simple basketball play that Foreign White needs to continue to make.
Bam! Woodbury for 3. That's his first bucket this half.
One of those guys that, when it comes off his wrist, it looks like it's going in every time.
He transferred from UNLV. They got transfers from Boise State, Utah, Oklahoma State, Akron, Fordham. Everybody else from a junior college.
Or can Utah Valley rebound out of this zone? Morley's on the bench right now with 4 fouls. So my guy Olojakpoke is 6'7" and long, but not only are they a small team, they're now playing zone defense, and that's 2 things that's going to be difficult to overcome, keeping Kentucky off the glass, which they have been better so far in this game, getting on that offensive glass.
Hagen's back on the floor, and a lob to Richards, and Richards was a little late on the jump.
Yeah, the pass a little high. I mean, Nick Richards is 7 feet, and he's got good hands, but it's hard to throw it too high to a 7-footer. Hagen's mastered it. Madsen just moving Kentucky, trying to move him and then drive him.
Higgins took a shot to the chin, maybe to the mouth. And they're going to stop play for him. He's checking to see if he's got a bloody lip coming around that screen.
The officials may go to the monitor to see. There was no call live to see if there was maybe a lifted elbow on a screen that Higgins ran into, right? No, he just I don't know. Maybe the left arm by Olojakpoke got up a little bit into Higgins. Good job by Tony Green to at least stop and look at it.
You can go look at that. I don't think they're going to be able to say there wasn't contact, because there may have been contact, but that's the kind of thing in the future that you could get flagged for a flop on. Not that one particular. I do think they made contact, don't you?
Well, Ashton came up holding his chin.
Yeah.
But on the replay, it looked like the contact was more into his shoulder. I'd like to see the first one again. Yeah, I mean, he got hit in the shoulder and he grabbed his chin. And that doesn't work.
He's got a bloody tongue. They drew blood somehow. I think
that's
was there a chance that they went face to face?
Maybe as he first brushed across him, maybe right there.
Jimmy, this is the point of the broadcast where I like to point out to people at home that the TVs you have, the flat screens on your wall, are a lot bigger than the ones we have here courtside.
And a lot
you
clearer.
may see it better than
something
we do.
Tweet me at Coach Jimmy Dykes if you can tell us what happened for sure. The officials are struggling with their sideline monitors tonight as well. Ten-point game. Kentucky just can't put Utah Valley away. Not yet. Move the ball side to side.
And actually the teardrop.
That's too easy. If you're Utah Valley, you're in a zone. Kentucky set a simple ball screen against the top of your zone and allowed the guy to get right in front of the rim. Well, they've used that UCLA cut back screen a lot in this game. Nothing has gotten out of it, but they've used it. Good drive by Woodbury.
And Woodbury draws a foul on Johnny Juzang. After Monday Night Football tonight, stick around for SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt, who have post-game reactions. Plus, my guy Booger will be by with Ryan Clark to break down Patrick Mahomes and Phillip Rivers. And Paul George faces the Thunder for the first time since leaving OKC. SportsCenter with SVP after Chiefs Chargers on ESPN and the ESPN app. Paul George, Jimmy, 70 points in 44 minutes so far this season. Is that good?
You're a football guy.
Yeah.
Most of the time, right now in the fall, right? Who are your top four? I'm putting you in charge of the college football playoff right now. Give me your four in order.
As of right now, how we think the season's going to end? Because I've got LSU and Ohio State 1A, 1B.
As of right now.
As of right now, okay. I've got Clemson right behind them, and I've got Georgia at number 4 with Oregon nipping at the heels. I don't think with Alabama's injury. Okay, basketball players, remember this. Remember Cincinnati's team? Remember when they suffered an injury when Kenyon Martin
yes.
broke his leg against St. Louis in the Conference USA tournament?
Absolutely.
That cost him a number 1 seed because they said that's not going to be the same team going into the postseason.
Absolutely.
Alabama, unless Mac Jones turns into the second coming, they're not going to be the same team without Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, we will find out at Auburn, right? Not this weekend, but next weekend. Good job by Richards to move his feet. He's a very good ball screen defender for a 7-footer.
And the ball finally brought down by Keon Brooks.
Good work by Olojakpoke. Just didn't get the result that he wanted.
Johnny Juzang hasn't scored tonight. He knew he'd have extended minutes with Emmanuel quickly out with a chest injury. Still trying to get accustomed to the speed of the game. Remember, he reclassified late in the summer. Maxey off the mark, and the rebound brought down by Olojakpoke. And there's Juzang, who with the takeaway, thrown right to him.
Had no idea Washington who he's going to throw the ball to.
Slick handoff to Higgins, and he ends up drawing the foul on Emmanuel Olojakpoke. It's the fourth, number 4 for Utah Valley.
I go back to the conversation and the great point that Seth made in the studio about Kentucky's offense for the next month, maybe 2, is going to be triggered by how good they can become defensively again. And this is the same club that beat Michigan State. We all sat there and watched it that night, and they won that game. They were the better team. And then a week later, Evansville was a better team. So it's kind of confusing and hard to figure out, is Kentucky the 9th team in the country or are they 29th? We don't know right now. The poll doesn't mean anything in my eyes. We're still trying to figure it out. But Kentucky defensively, until they get an identity and they establish who they're playing through and where their scoring spots are, like they had last year, Tyler Hero off the baseline action and PJ on the left block, left shoulder, their defense is going to have to carry them until they figure it out.
Here's Washington Jr. Pretty stroke for the transfer from Coffeyville Community College by way of Jenks High School in Tulsa.
Jenks is a powerhouse in Oklahoma in high school football. I don't know how they are in basketball, I'm telling you.
I'm driven by the football stadium.
Yes,
it's pretty obvious they're a powerhouse.
It is big time. Screening the top of the zone now with a shooter, Sestina, so he can screen and pop just like man-to-man defense.
Quick move for Brooks to go baseline, jams it home.
There you go. He's not a explosive athlete, Keon Brooks.
Wait, I got him as the best dunker on the team.
Well, that's your chart. That's your problem. I say that, no, he can really elevate, but in terms of just quickness and, those boom, boom, quick steps, he's okay, but he's a high IQ guy that makes him quicker.
TJ Washington for 3. Yeah, he's talking, in fact, with Rex Chapman about it before the game. He said, just watch Keon Brooks throughout a game. He's always in the right spot.
Yes.
He's always leading his teammates with his passes. Sestina turnaround. And Brooks try to crash in and slam it home. I think a guy like that would be so valuable and so important. Another one for TJ Washington. Wow. He's starting to feel it. And he's made it a 7-point game.
How many does the guy have to make before your pickup point is a lot higher than it has been? John Calipari is going to ask the same question right now.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Domino's. Order online and track your order. Utah Valley has put together a 9-2 run to close to within 7 of 9th-ranked Kentucky.
Well, it's the power of the 3 from number 3. TJ Washington knocked off 3 in a row after Woodbury knocked one down, but there's one from 2 steps from behind the arc. And then there's the last one, and you have to now be a step or 2 higher, especially in your transition pickup point. Mark Madsen right there has a guy that the rim looks really big right now to TJ Washington. Cal calls a timeout, and I guarantee he talked about where our defense has to now be set in transition. 3 in black is seeing a big rim right now in Rupp.
If Utah Valley can complete the comeback, you have to break out the record books. Kentucky hasn't lost at home in back-to-back games to non-conference opponents since Billy Gillespie's final season. Louisiana Lafayette came in here right before Christmas in '89 and got him, and then Louisville on December 30th of that same season. And it's turned over by Ashton Higgins.
And that's an impossible pass to make, Tom. Impossible.
Washington was feeling it, wasn't he? He was looking for a gap.
Yes, he was.
9-2 run, all 9 coming on 3s from TJ Washington. Falling out of bounds, and it was halfway home. He's looking like PJ Washington did for the Charlotte team in NBA opener.
Set the record, didn't he, for an NBA rookie on debut for making 3s?
How's Utah Valley zone affected Kentucky?
It's got them standing around right now. All they've done is tried to screen the top of it, and the bullet pass to Sestina from 10 feet away doesn't help. Nice job.
It'll be Utah Valley basketball.
Well, all Mark Madsen's doing, Tom, is trying to choke down this game, not let Kentucky's athletes take over around the rim, shrinking the court with his zone, and keeping game pressure on Kentucky.
The lively 7-footer. Sestina breaks it up. Brandon Morley out there with 4 fouls. It's a drive and a shove from Richards, who comes up limping a little bit.
Just a flat-out shove by Nick Richards into a driving Ege Hafsa.
So Kavanega Hafsa, the junior from Istanbul, Turkey, by way of Fordham.
Utah continues to play a lot of spread offense in this game. This time it's spread with a high pick-and-roll person in Morley. And Nick Richards gets put in a bad spot. He commits the foul. But from a coach's standpoint, the guy guarding the ball is the one that's responsible for the foul.
Hafsa's got another free throw coming. Made 10 starts for the Rams of Fordham, 25 minutes a game. Playing the same grassroots program back in his home country as Hidu Turkoglu, who's now president of the Turkish Basketball Federation. Sestina on the board. Kentucky's lead's down to 6 thanks to a 7-0 Wolverines run. Higgins turns the corner, and he finishes around Morley.
That was a terrific drive by Higgins, Tom, to turn the corner and not make his mind up what he was going to do. He had a shooting option in the corner, but once he saw the shooting option wasn't exactly what he wanted, very well done and a good finish. What a move.
Washington!
Wow. He's doing it all. He is doing it all.
15 points for the senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And you just kind of feel the Rupp crowd say, are you kidding me? Here we go again.
Higgins turns the corner again. And Morley couldn't take a shot at him playing with 4.
Well, Mark's not going to like that defense. That's a zone man, whatever you want to call it. Not effective. Very simple ball screen. The guy gets all the way to the rim.
Oh, Washington lost the basketball. Here's Woodbury. Drives on Maxey. Wolverines starting to get sped up. And it turns into a foul on Kentucky. How about this okey-doke move, Jimmy?
Yeah, T.J. Washington knocking down threes. Now watch the ball fake. Now the floor opens up. And right here. Nope. 1-2. And he's capable of having big numbers. The crafty scoring point guard. Really, he and Brandon Averett, they're both about 5'11", but they are combination scoring point guards that can go on 9-0 runs by themselves. And T.J. Washington is the leader. Interesting, he was suspended for a couple of games just for a very simple violation of team rules. Mark Madsen had no part of it, set the tone. But he loves his captain, T.J. Washington.
This is a Utah Valley team playing without one of their key guards, Isaiah White, out of Rancho Cucamonga. He did not play against UAB. He's out for another couple of weeks with a knee injury.
If Mark Madsen's going to stay with his zone, the top 2 guys in the zone have to be much more dialed in on stopping dribble penetration.
Higgins has made it to the paint a couple of times. Now Maxey will take a run. And it's rebounded by Overton.
Good job by Overton to rotate down on the backside.
Feed on the weak side and a finish from Hafsa. It's a 5-point game.
Just cannot put Utah away. Utah Valley came for a fight, and it all starts with the personality of Mad Dog Mark Madsen.
Poked away by Washington on the other end. And he'll go to the free throw line after being fouled by Maxey.
That was a hard foul in transition. I think Don Daly's just going to make a common foul and shoot 2, but that could have certainly escalated, at least for a look, as an F1. Those hard fouls in transition, guys get in dangerous positions where possible injuries occur. They have the eyes and the attention of the officials, as well they should.
Mark Madsen's played against Kentucky, played against them in the '98 Final Four. Hadn't been in this building before. And now his team dealing with the road crowd, which is awoken here at Rupp.
Do you think Mark Madsen is bothered at all by the Go Big Blue chant that was trying to go during free throws? No. The guy's won back-to-back NBA titles. He's been an assistant with the Lakers for 6 years. He's a 2-time All-American at Stanford.
He walks around campus in Crocs.
Yes.
He doesn't care.
No. And he literally walked around campus in Crocs. You're right. Where's the offense? You know, last year it was Tyler Hero, P.J. Washington, and they had to have one. Who is it?
Richards from the baseline. Weird flex, but okay, he's got 17.
Right now, Cal will take it any way he can get it. Tom, you asked me earlier in the first half, John doesn't even know right now, Calipari, for sure who that guy is. Have balance, move the ball, you open, make a shot.
T.J. Washington feeling it. Wolverines find the long rebound, and Overton ends up paying it off.
He's a nice player, man. He's a lefty, 6'6", long, has really good breaks. He can really stop and pivot well. How about this? Is it possible that Kentucky could lose back-to-back games in Rupp Arena?
Anything's possible. Even Ken Palm didn't have this one 100%. A feed and a finish, and Overton's got another bucket. And Utah Valley is close to within 2.
All the momentum is with the team in black. John Calipari looked at the clock, thinking about, do I take a timeout? But if he does, that leaves him only with 1, with 6.5 to go. His guys have to play through it right now. Can they figure it out on their own? Good teams do.
Higgins went right into the 7-footer. Ashton Higgins got 18.
Yeah, I like putting Higgins on the baseline because he's active, he's tough, and he's strong through contact. He doesn't always finish, but at least you could get to the free throw line, which Kentucky has been really well from there tonight.
Let's see what Utah Valley has drawn up.
Well, you better step up on him, right?
Trying to draw the foul, didn't get it. He was going into Richards.
I would not bring Nick Richards into ball screen coverage if I'm Mark Madsen. I think that's a mistake. Nick Richards is too good as a ball screen defender. He'll have no part of it. He can move his feet really well, and he was up on the shooter.
T.J. Washington just got teed up.
Yeah, he got frustrated and got a little chatty with Don Daly.
Washington wanted a foul on the offensive end. He didn't get it. He finally got him to blow the whistle on the other end. And the result is his second personal with Utah Valley down 4. Disney Bundle is now available. You get ESPN Plus with great content like NFL Primetime, UFC, NHL, and the 30 for 30 library. And you get Disney Plus and Hulu. It's an amazing package of movies, sports, and shows. Go to ESPNplus.com to sign up now. My son and I spent last night watching both episodes of The Mandalorian. And I think that Kentucky could use the wisdom of Baby Yoda right now to try to figure out who they need on the offensive side of the ball.
You're exactly right. There's a Class A technical, by the way, on T.J. Washington. He's frustrated they didn't get the foul call, and then he just talked too much to the official, and Don Daly had no part of it. So it'll be 2 free throws for Kentucky, and ball side out of bounds. And T.J. Washington he's been electric offensively. Felt like maybe it was a foul there by Washington. Washington felt like maybe Nick reached in on him, but you got to play through it. Keep your composure. You're in the ball game right now. You've given Kentucky a chance to score without defending the free throw shooter and the ball out of bounds side.
Higgins sitting on 19. Jimmy, I wonder, Mark Madsen put on that specific play. If you're a player like T.J. Washington, how hard is it in this environment to think, coach called a play for me, I'm taking it, even if it would have been wise for him to flare out and reset something?
Well, especially when he's as hot as he's been over the last 3 or 4 minutes.
I can understand why he may have forced it with the technical unforgiving, because it's allowed Kentucky to extend the advantage.
Tom, Kentucky only has 1 offensive rebound in this second half. They had 9 in the first half. They might need to get 2 or 3 more to close out this game.
They couldn't get them at the end of the Evansville game. They couldn't get defensive rebounds to try and stop Walter McCarty's team. He had the bigger Valentine issue as much as anything. Now matched up with Maxey. Aber gets Richards switched on him. What a dump and a finish for Overton.
Terrific play call, I believe, by Mark Madsen to get a side step-up ball screen and allow the dribble penetration on the baseline, knowing that the pass was going to be delivered right in front of the rim. That was beautifully done at a key time.
Higgins lobs to Richards. He'll throw that down and swing around. It's a 19-point night for junior Nick Richards.
Utah has really struggled in their zone in this half to keep Kentucky out of the painted area of the floor off the bounce.
Remember, their bigs in foul trouble, Jardine and Morley. Woodbury able to stop the clock with a drive. How about the interior passing?
Well, good teams can pass in traffic, and that's that side step-up ball screen. They got Brandon Averett driving baseline. Just a perfectly executed play by Overton in front of the rim. And Nick Richards, he sits in that dunker spot really pretty well. He'll move side to side when John spreads the floor. He sets Nick in the dunker spot, so it's always an option. Has been for years for Kentucky. They were one of the first ones to bring it into the college game, that drive the ball and the pass to the big on the opposite side of the rim.
Cal was doing that back in his Memphis days.
Yes.
Joey Dorsey whipping down rims. Trey Woodbury's got a 17-point night here at Rupp.
You may want to call your friends or text your friends and tell them to put it on ESPN too. It's a 4-point game. Kentucky is struggling right now. They have 7 scholarship guys tonight.
And Richards just got away with a shove.
Yes.
And Brandon Morley has been slowed by that shove. Richards from the baseline. Johnny Juzang on the glass, and Overton fouls him.
Yeah, I said that Kentucky was going to have to get 2 or 3 more offensive rebounds this half. That was a big one right there. Because if Johnny Juzang doesn't go in there and fight and have a will that's hard to kill, all of a sudden Utah Valley has a chance to cut this thing down to a 1 or 2 point game.
Johnny Juzang's got 2 free throws coming. Billy Gillespie's final season may have been the nail in the coffin. Back-to-back losses at home to the Raging Cajuns and the Cardinals. Our partner is Rick Pitino's first season as head coach in '89. Last time they lost conference games at home was Billy G's last season. Morley to the bench. That was when they lost to LSU in '09 and then to Georgia.
That's something to keep an eye on right now with Morley, the 7-footer, going out. He's messing with that right knee. And now Utah Valley is awfully small again, and this should be Nick Richards' time. As crazy as it sounds, Nick Richards could have a huge impact on closing out this game just because of his size.
Washington got by him, found Woodbury.
Stay in front of the ball.
Averett able to penetrate and finish.
Stay in front of the ball. I'm not cheering for either team. It's just frustrating to watch guys not be able to stay in front of the ball. The game's on the line. Sit in a stance and fight.
Juzang will drive. Offensive foul.
Juzang's not a driver, and there's a good job by a really good quick athlete, Overton, to move his feet. And John Calipari was in a fight last week against Evansville. He's in a fight again tonight.
It's Kentucky holding out, so we've got a top 10 team, or do we? In 9th-ranked Kentucky, 68-64 is their lead. Tom Hart alongside Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy, walk me into both of these huddles. How do they differ right now?
I think they're entirely different. I think Utah Valley right now is relaxed. They're confident. They're playing with nothing to lose, and they're playing really well. John Calipari's guys right now, they cannot get tight. They cannot think about, here we go again. They have to execute. They have to be tough. They have to continue to get on the boards. They can win the game by rebounding the basketball, if nothing else. Good thing for Kentucky, Tom. They have been outstanding from the free throw line tonight, 21 out of 22, which is offsetting a miserable three-point shooting night by Kentucky, 1 for 11. Kentucky does not need to settle for jump shots right now. Get the ball inside, hammer them with your size, get to the free throw line where you're very confident right now, and clean up rebounds.
Number 3 for Utah Valley, T.J. Washington, has been the key in their comeback. At one point, he made 3 consecutive threes.
Kentucky goes zone. Mark Madsen probably had a man-to-man play call. Right in front of his bench, though, he can quickly adjust it. They're going to screen the top of it, and they get bombs away. Bam!
T.J. Washington for another 3. He's got 19, and he's got 4 threes this half.
Tom, you've got to get over that ball screen. I don't care if it's man or zone. You have a dead-eye shooter right now in Rupp Arena that you cannot let get in rhythm.
Sestina trying to answer. And then a whistle and a foul underneath. We got a hook. And it'll be on Overton. It's his second.
A really quick on-the-fly adjustment by Mark Madsen to get the zone call that he wanted. Probably came out expecting man-to-man, and he quickly says, let's screen the top of the zone. And boy, a really good job by T.J. Washington just to slide just enough to get the shot off.
There's something about shooters in this building from non-Power 5 schools. They come in here, they knock down a couple. This is their opportunity. This is their spotlight game. And all of a sudden, they all look like Steph Curry. Will they get another one off? T.J. Washington, Jenks High School, Coffeyville Community College. He's on Tulsa time tonight.
5-on-4, Khalil Whitney, I think maybe a hurt hand and a wide open shot by Woodbury.
And a loose ball as 2 bodies go to the floor. To let it go and say it was Kentucky basketball. Overton could have grabbed it. And Whitney's just jamming his finger, trying to get it back, he says. And he gave a thumbs up. He said, broken finger, dislocated. Hey, I'll just jam it out myself.
Yeah, if it's dislocated, sometimes as a player, I did it in college, your natural reaction just to pop it back in place yourself. How is this not something? I mean, that has to be something, right? I mean, I see that in rodeos in Arkansas in the summer.
It's not just over the back, it's way over the back. It's over the back and on the back.
Who's your zone buster? Who can bust that zone as a passer or as a shooter? Wide open was Higgins, turned it down.
Christina slices down the lane, and he powers his way to an and one.
And it was a good decision by Ashton Higgins to turn down what is a very difficult baseline 12-foot shot. The ball moved well. It didn't get stuck. Nate Sestina's up top, and then he just rim runs off the baseline touch by Higgins. And Strong shoulders his way to an important 2 points.
Grad transfer from Bucknell. Nate Sestina's been working on his threes and working on his touch. And from the free throw line, he's able to make it a 4-point Kentucky lead.
Kentucky now 22 out of 23 from the free throw line.
Crowd up. Averett around Richards. Overton in the paint. He had it right there for him.
Don't get in a hurry right now if you're Kentucky. Move the ball like you did last time. Get the thing to the short corner. Make the defense respond to it. You can always screen the top of the zone and get downhill. Turn that
Short
down.
corner again for Higgins.
Twice he turned it down, wasn't it?
And Maxey got a bump from Averett. It's a second on Averett.
So Tom Cal has taken his point guard Higgins, and he's put his point guard on the baseline as a passer. I like the adjustment. I like the move. Because now Higgins is kind of playing behind the defense. He still has the vision and the feel as a point guard, and he's moved that ball twice now very well from the short corner.
Kentucky's in the bonus. They've made their living at the free throw line. Here's what you're just talking about.
There he is at that short corner. He sees the opposite side of the floor. Maxey attacks the closeout, gets to the logo, and good things happen. That's two really good back-to-back offensive possessions by Kentucky against the zone with a game on the line.
This is a Kentucky team that hasn't lost back-to-back non-conference games at home since 1989. That was Rick Pitino's first season here. And they got things turned around with the unforgettables. But first, they had their struggles. And John Calipari is still trying to learn the identity of his team. Mark Madsen is learning a lot about his squad tonight.
A lot of swag by Mark Madsen and his guys. They don't care about Kentucky and Rupp Arena. They came here at noon today with a very focused game day shoot-around. They came to win the game. They watched the same game film that we've all watched from last week against Evansville. You spread Kentucky, you drive them, you shrink the floor. They're not going to beat you making threes. Kentucky's made 1 3, and there's the history right now that we're looking at.
Our guys at Big Blue History, they do fantastic research. Madsen, the 92nd to face him as an opposing player and an opposing coach. Look at the ones who have more than 1 win against Kentucky. Mike Krzyzewski, Steve Alford, and Branch McCracken. Impressive list. Madsen was the guy who helped Stanford win their Elite 8 game against Rhode Island to get to the Final Four as a player where they would lose to Kentucky, as the Cats would win a national title. And now Tyrese Maxey has 1-1 coming.
Well, these are big, aren't they? And they have been almost perfect in this game from the stripe.
Almost perfect, not enough.
Well, you don't need a 3 right now for Utah Valley. You need a basket or a foul and get to the free throw line. Double up drag in transition, pop the shooter, very well executed, just missed the shot.
And Juzang has the board.
Can't execute it any better than that, though. A double up drag involving a shooter that you pop, got a good look. Mark has to go man-to-man now. I think Kentucky's just going to take time off that clock. And the last 2 possessions, they've been good against zone. Will they execute now against man? Sprint out, naked ball screen in the middle. Higgins delivers.
Richards with the tip in. 21 for Richards.
Good call by John Calipari. A naked ball screen in the middle part of the floor. Uncovered is what it is.
Washington forced it. Couldn't knock it down. And it seems like Kentucky will survive. Utah Valley going to extend the game as Hafsa commits a foul with 41.8 left.
That's not. I know that Washington has been on fire, but that's not the shot that ideally that you wanted. I mean, in transition, the crowd was into it. He was taking a crowded 3. You just needed at that point to extend the length of the game. Look at Nick Richards. That uncovered ball screen sets him up to rim run as an offensive rebounder. I'm not so sure the ball maybe wasn't partly in the cylinder.
Higgins has 21. 13 of them in this half.
John Calipari will have to figure out who his team is during games. From game to game, this team's going to grow, continue to develop, and change who he plays to, how he gets baskets when he needs to. Nick Richards wasn't great tonight, but I tell you what, they wouldn't have won the game without him. He came through when he had to in some key moments.
Hafsa with the step back. Splash.
You got to stay on the ground if you're Johnny Juzang. The one thing you can't do right there is lose your balance and get off balance and give an open three.
TJ Washington commits the foul to stop the clock. It's his third. John Calipari's team, you mentioned it, at the free throw line, 24 of 26 tonight.
Yeah, man.
That helps balance the ledger because they're just 1 of 12 from deep.
I've ever told you how important it is. Go back and, matter of fact, tonight, go back to your room and grade this film. And then call me about midnight and tell me the importance of free throws and layups.
You think I'm going to be in my room at midnight?
Yes.
Tony's isn't closed at midnight.
Every game, Tom, go back and just watch. Did we make our layups? Did we make our free throws?
Yeah.
If you win that battle, 90% of the time you're going to win the dadgum game. Kentucky's going to do that tonight, maybe from the free throw strike. Now, they've missed their share of layups, but just think about all the rim shots that Kentucky has missed. If they make their layups tonight and their free throws, it's a 10 or 12 or 14-point game. That's how important those two spots on the floor are.
And they are plus 19 on the glass. A lot of departures from what Kentucky didn't do against Evansville.
Well, I love the vulnerability and the honesty and the lack of ego that John Calipari immediately said after the game, that I didn't have my guys ready to play, and that's on me. And he made progress, I think, in that area tonight. They have not taken Utah Valley for granted at all. That's not been the case. They came to play. Utah Valley has made them play, though, because they've shrunk the floor. They have tried to expose Kentucky's weaknesses. And if you're a Kentucky fan, an unguarded shot tonight was your fan. And I'm talking about a free throw attempt.
Ashton Higgins has tied his career high with 23 points. And he will exceed that at the free throw line. Meanwhile, Richards with a double-double, 21 and 10. What an effort by the guys from Utah Valley. And considering this is a team that lost the Conference Player of the Year, the Conference Freshman of the Year due to transfer. And their coach, Mark Pope, went to BYU, took 3 best players with him. Averett couldn't finish. I think about that for a second. And I know Mark Pope and BYU hoping to have a great season. But if this were a higher profile program and a coach left and he took 3 players with him to his next school, criticism would be raining down on that decision and the ability to allow that.
Yes, you're talking about the former Utah Valley coach gets the BYU job and takes the WAC Player of the Year and a WAC Freshman of the Year with him and another starter, a 6'11 kid. And I told Mark Madsen today, if I don't have a game next year on the night that you play BYU, I'm coming out there to watch that game. Those campuses are 3.5 miles apart from one another, and that will be a must-watch ball game next year in the Mountain Time Zone.
And they knocked him off 3 years ago in the Marriott Center. Richards re-enters. 21 seconds left. Pope took over for Dave Rose, who's been battling health issues. Was such a great coach at BYU over the years. Averett's got 11.
Tom, Kentucky, they're going to win the ball game. And so what did they find out? You know, that's kind of one of the questions you're going to look at on your film tomorrow. The film doesn't lie. John Calipari is going to continue to see that they are not a good three-point shooting club right now. They're 1 for 12 in this ball game. But good teams can overcome things if they do something else exceptionally well. What did Kentucky do tonight? They got the thing inside enough tonight to get to the foul line now 29, 30 times, and they were very effective getting there. And they also did a good job on the boards to the tune of 45 to 26. So the message of get on the glass, I think, has been sent from John Calipari. It has been received by his team. Yeah, I'm telling you, as a coach, it is not easy to win a game with 7 scholarship guys.
Right.
And Utah Valley's they're not some sad team that just rolled in here and couldn't play. It's a solid win for Kentucky. It's not at all where they thought they would be after beating Michigan State to open up this season, but it is where they are. They are not on a painless path this year, and they will grow from it at all times.
TJ makes them pay with another 3. He's got 22. I think there's one other thing that we take for granted when it comes to Kentucky and getting better. John Calipari gets his team better by going 5-on-5 in practice every day. He can't go 5-on-5 right now.
No, he can't. I mean, he can, but 2 of those 5 that he's going against are like you and I.
Yeah, he'll have Joel Justice running the point for the other team.
It's very difficult to do, and it's a Kentucky system that has really developed in terms of how hard they can go at each other in practice every single day, and that's not in place right now. But you have to overcome it and adapt, and that's coaching. That's, at the end of the day, that's coaching. Overcome, adapt, move your team forward. And I believe Cal has moved his team forward since the last time they were in Rupp.
Career high 26 for Ashton Higgins. No whistle on the bump in the open floor. That was a little odd. And a 3 after the kick out. Kentucky will hold on. 2.3 remaining. And they're going to get out of here with a win that was closer than John Calipari wanted it to be, I'm sure.
The time I go back to what we've talked about in this ball game, even on years that Cal has taken his team to the Final Four, it sometimes takes them till mid-January or February to really understand how they're going to play on the offensive end.
Sure.
This year's going to be no different. They may not know that till the last week of the regular season.
Can they become a good shooting team? Because they're not there right now.
They are not there right now. And I don't see a Tyler Hero on this team. Just a bucket-getting dude, running off screens, making shots on the move, and a consistent low-post score. It's going to have to come with balance. It's going to have to come with time. It's going to have to come with John Calipari continuing to figure out who his team is and how they should play.
TJ Washington was a bucket tonight for the visiting Wolverines of Utah Valley. He finished with 22. What a burst he was. Nick Richards gets congratulations from another big. He had a double-double tonight. Meanwhile, it was Ashton Higgins in the free throw line. All smiles for the Cats. They bounced back from a loss a week ago. 82-74 final for Jimmy Dykes and Tom Hart. Good night from Rupp.